My research is on the Song of Songs in the Middle Ages, and I actually got really interested in the Song of Songs my first year in graduate school, so it's been about 10 years or so now. But one thing I find so fascinating about the Song of Songs is that it's a very short biblical text. It's only about 8 chapters. And it's very strange. It doesn't look like something you'd expect to see in the Bible. It's basically a love poem where a man and a woman describe each other's beauty and they talk about kind of running away together. And so it's not necessarily what you'd think you'd find when you flip through the Bible. It was, however, one of the most popular texts in the Bible in the Middle Ages. It was the most frequently commented upon by medieval theologians. And so the work that I do on the Song of Songs involves a certain group of commentators on the Song of Songs. They took a look at that text and they said, well, we can't interpret this literally. We can't say it's just a love poem between a man and a woman. And so we have to come up with ways of thinking about this text, allegorical ways of thinking about the text. Some people thought of the text as kind of a love poem between Christ and his mother, the Virgin Mary. Others looked at the Song of Songs and they saw it as communication between Christ and individual souls. The people that I work on in the 12th and 13th century looked at the Song of Songs and they saw it as really a communication between Christ and the church being the bride in the Song of Songs. During the period that I work on, about 1100 to 1250, there were many people within the church who felt the church was in a time of crisis. There were rising reports of heresy throughout medieval Europe, so people believing things that they weren't supposed to believe that were different from the standard church beliefs. And there were other issues as well with people not attending Mass and not really being super into their faith. And so the writers that I work on used the Song of Songs to teach the students that they were teaching in cathedral schools and later universities, like the University of Paris. They used that text to basically put words in Christ's mouth. So in the Song of Songs commentaries that I work on, Christ is telling the church to get up and go preach, to arise and preach against those heretics, preach to those people who've become lax in their faith, and also preach to Jews in order to convert them, which in medieval Christian belief would bring about the second coming of Christ. And so you get an interesting look at this text that very obviously to us, if we look at it, we just say, ooh, it's a love poem. They looked at it in a very different way, and so that's what I've been researching throughout grad school and in my first few years here at IPFW. Last year I was at Notre Dame on a postdoctoral fellowship at the Medieval Institute there, which gave me the opportunity to continue my research on this topic. In order to best kind of represent the authors that I work on, I had to look at about 40 or 50 manuscripts. And these manuscripts are, of course, written in Latin, and they're written in a very abbreviated script. They take a really long time to read. And so I spent a lot of time in that past year looking over these manuscripts and continuing to write about them. And so that's helped me get to the point where I'm working with a publisher right now to publish the results. So basically my dissertation turned into a slightly more polished form. And so I was given that opportunity to go work at probably one of the best medieval organizations in North America with a lot of great resources. Here at IPFW, we don't have a medieval institute yet, but through working with the College of Arts and Sciences, there's actually several professors here who work in the medieval field, and we were encouraged to start a medieval studies program. And that program has gotten underway this fall, and so we have a medieval studies minor. We have Latin available, so students can study Latin. We have a team-taught course called Medieval Encounters, where students are currently learning about medieval Christian, Jewish, Muslim relations. And then we've got a lot of great history classes, art history, religion, music, philosophy, all kinds of different fields. And so students get the opportunity to have that interdisciplinary minor that partners really well with a history major or an art history major or religion or English or anything like that. And so we are on our way to having a medieval kind of organization here that students can really take part in.